Welcome to the WWE Payback Prediction Show, hosted by me, Marvelous Mike, the wrestling maniac, the guru, the shaman of wrestling, where I tell you who's going to win at Payback, and I damn well guarantee it. Ending the promo, I hope these predictions pan out. They may not pan out, but this is how I see the show, how I would book the show. Hope you enjoy it. All right, WWE Payback. What matches do we have at Payback, and what's going to happen? This is what we want to know. The WWE has had about 2 weeks to put on this pay-per-view. So, and typical fashion of the WWE, throwing this together in a short build. In some respects, they've done a good job with some matches not so much. But we're going to see what matches is actually on the show. All right, let's get started. And I do not know the match order on the card right now. I just know the matches that is going to be on the show, and I'm going to end with the match that I would end with. First off, we're going to start with the pre-show. The pre-show, the kickoff show. The kickoff show, as scheduled, has a Miz TV segment with Finn Balor. This is not going to be a match. Of course, it's probably going to be a development. Maybe the Miz is going to get into a feud with Balor, or maybe Ambrose is going to make his appearance again. One notable thing on the card does not include Ambrose versus the Miz for the Intercontinental Championship, and that's confusing because they have been building this for 2 weeks, but apparently it's not going to be on the show. Rather, it's going to help hype and continue the feud. So there's no telling what's going to happen on Miz TV, but Finn Balor there might be something that goes on there that just gives us a little bit of intrigue and builds the show a little bit more. Don't know, on the kickoff show, we might have actually a match. We might have a cruiserweight match. Enzo and Cass, maybe Enzo Amore and Cass and Luke Gallows. They're scheduled to be on the kickoff show. This might be our kickoff match. We might have a cruiserweight match. This might be a fun little match between Enzo and Cass versus Gallows and Anderson. I would have Gallows and Anderson go over, but most likely I look for Enzo and Cass to go over as they build them up again, since they didn't get their WrestleMania moment. The Hardys, you got to give the Hardys. The Hardys going to come in. You got to make them champions, right? Next, we're going to get into the main show. We're going to have the Cruiserweight Championship match between Neville and Austin Aries. Two good performers. Neville's doing a tremendous job as a heel. Clearly the face of 205 Live. Austin Aries is a good combatant here with his smart remarks and eating bananas, which I think that's hilarious. I don't know if this is going to end up with Austin Aries winning or Neville. I predict that Neville is going to continue to win via a TJ Perkins interference, since he has went heel. I look for TJ Perkins to get involved here. I want to say real quick, I think this is a good attitude change for TJ Perkins, but please, bro, TJ Perkins, man, change that music. Give us some heel music. Come on, if you're going to be a little badass, come on, give us some badass music. Next, we have the Raw Tag Team Championships, the Hardy Boys versus Sheamus and Cesaro. I don't know at this point if they're going to put pull the titles off of the Hardy Boys. We might see the Hardy Boys again. If they defeat Sheamus and Cesaro goes over, we might see the Hardys go broken. I think it's too soon for the Hardys to go broken. I know that goes against a lot of contemporaries out there doing podcasts, but I think the Hardys are on a steady course. Sheamus and Cesaro, they need to continue this feud until Money in the Bank. If it's an interpromotional match, which I hope it's an interpromotional pay-per-view. Not clear on that, but they need to continue this. I look maybe for, if it's going to be Money in the Bank, I look for the Hardy Boys there to go broken after Money in the Bank. That or SummerSlam, one of the two. But we'll see. I doubt that they pull the titles off the Hardys right at this time. Next, we're going to do Seth Rollins versus Samoa Joe. This goes back before WrestleMania, where Samoa Joe legitimately got injured. Seth Rollins was no fault of his own; could happen to anybody. But they played this up in kayfabe land, and so we have this match to where Joe now has to face Rollins. That Rollins defeated Triple H. Now he has to take out Samoa Joe. Please, for the love of God, WWE Creative, do not let Seth Rollins go over Samoa Joe. Continue to build Samoa Joe into a monster that he is. He's money. He's gold. I look for Samoa Joe to go over. Rollins needs to have some sort of more personality in this. Get something original. I'll say it. I know I'm going to get a lot of heat for this, but get something original as a finisher. Don't try to steal Kenny Omega's one of Kenny Omega's signature moves. You don't need the pedigree. There's plenty of moves out there in wrestling that you can use to make yourself original and give yourself to make you stand out from amongst the crowd. You're immensely talented. Get some personality. Be that baby face and continue to rise. Next, we had the United States Championship match versus Kevin Owens versus Jericho. This match is a give me. Who's going to win this one? Kevin Owens is going to win, people. Jericho with Fuzzy's going on tour. Now, watch me say this and Jericho win. I'd like to see Jericho win, but Kevin Owens needs to go on. I mean, he needs to go on and to bigger and better things and on SmackDown Live, carrying that U.S. Championship. Hope he gets a long run with the U.S. Championship, even though he's going to be defending it at the next SmackDown pay-per-view, Backlash against AJ Styles. I look for Kevin Owens to continue his reign as U.S. champion. He's a good champion. He makes the title prestigious, and with the matchups that's going to be there for him in SmackDown, he's going to continue to make the United States Championship one of the most prestigious championships in wrestling. Now we have the women's championship match, Bayley versus Alexa Bliss. I'm going to pick Bayley here, even though I would like for Alexa Bliss to win. I don't see Bayley losing the title here. I hope she has a lengthy title reign up into SummerSlam. I look for Sasha Banks to get involved in this match. So we can finally set up this feud between Sasha Banks and Bayley. That's the money match. That's the gold match. Alexa Bliss is a great heel. She's a wonderful heel. But the match where the money is at is Bayley versus Sasha Banks at SummerSlam. So look for that match. I next would see Bayley feud with Nia Jax at the next pay-per-view, and then set that match up with Sasha Banks at SummerSlam. That's how I would book it, and that's how I would do things. Next, we have the House of Horrors match, Randy Orton versus Bray Wyatt. It is not for the WWE Championship, which is wrong. It is going to be an interesting match. I wish they would have keep it a little bit hidden that part of it was going to be in a House of Horror and part of it was going to be in a ring. It's going to be interesting to see how they do this. I don't know if it's going to be PG rated or not. With all the satanic stuff of what Bray Wyatt's going to do. I mean, I know it gives us intrigue. I know it builds his character and all this stuff, but I don't know if it's going to be a PG match. People say, and I want to get on this, and this is my soapbox. Everyone says, a lot of people say, podcasters say, and I'm not going to call out any names, that Randy Orton is boring. Randy Orton is horrible. Randy Orton makes a horrible champion. Well, you know what? The face of the facts is Randy Orton is one of the best in the world at what he does. He is smooth in the ring. He is great in the ring. He deserves to be the champion, simply having for what he went through when he first come back, being elbowed. With a barrage of elbows by Brock Lesnar at the past SummerSlam. You have to understand the character of Randy Orton. Yes, he does make a better heel. He's an awesome heel. But Randy Orton is what he is. He is who he is. He is that lineage of the Orton name. 3 generations of performers. People cheering him a little bit on SmackDown. I think that maybe with a stronger persona of a heel like Jinder Mahal, even though Mahal is awful in the ring, and I might catch some heat for that because Mahal is awful in the ring, has a horrible finisher, that he will get a little bit more of that babyface pop. Bray Wyatt, this House of Horrors, there's no telling where this is going to lead. And we know that it's still, they have to remain in this PG, not really go to the PG-14. Don't know if it's going to be a fun house, or don't know if it's going to be more of the Grudge type house of scary things. Wouldn't it be nice if they would have had this in October during Halloween? There's a thought, creative, which I think that would be great. Love to see them bring back Halloween Havoc, which I thought was a good pay-per-view in WCW. But this match is what it is. It's a 7-month feud. The conclusion comes here. And maybe we're going to see where Randy Orton is so affected by what happens in the House of Horrors match that he ends up at Backlash losing to Jinder Mahal. Which I do believe Jinder Mahal is going to go over Randy Orton, simply because the WWE is really pushing him. I don't think that Jinder Mahal is going to be champion for very long. I think he's going to be champion long enough to tour India, and that's probably going to be it. But we'll get into that at a later pay-per-view. But I look here at this match, Bray Wyatt versus Randy Orton. I look for Bray Wyatt to go over Randy Orton here in some fashion. They've got to continue to build Wyatt because he don't have the Wyatt family with him per se. I mean, surely we're going to see more of the Wyatt family here at the House of Horrors match. But Bray's got to be built up. I think more of that mystic type, Eater of Worlds type character. um, because the company needs sort of that character. I mean, Bray Wyatt is not, and I don't know if he'll ever be at the level of The Undertaker. He could have been if he would have been booked right. He would have been if I would have been booking this, and I am going to say that. But Bray Wyatt, I look for Bray Wyatt to go over here. Now we come to what I think is really going to be the main event of the evening. Um, it might be they might end with Randy Orton and Bray Wyatt. I don't know. But I look for them to end with Roman Reigns and Braun Strowman. Whether we like it or not, Roman Reigns is the guy in the WWE right now. He is the one who Vince wants to push. So he's not awful in the ring. He's not awful in the ring like Jinder Mahal. There's certain things about his personality that I wish that he would. I want to see more passion out of Roman Reigns. I'm going to go out on a limb here, and I say this: everyone is picking Braun to go over Roman Reigns because that's the rumors. I don't know if he would do that or not. Maybe they'll have a program. If they're going to have a program with Braun Strowman versus Lesnar, going back to some of the words of what Braun's face-off with Lesnar when he said, well, I'll destroy Roman Reigns, then maybe I'll have your attention. If they're going back to that, and if they're going to build Braun Strowman, they need Braun Strowman to go over here. Roman Reigns does not need to be pinned. You don't pin your top guy. People get angry at Roman Reigns and all this, but let's look at this. Let's look at this. What benefits the company here? The benefits the company is for Roman Reigns to remain strong. Let's hope that Roman gets a little bit of a breather here, a push. If it was up to me, this match wouldn't be even on the card. Roman Reigns would skip Payback. He don't need to be at Payback. He needs to he don't need to be. I think what would happen to him on Raw with him being put in an ambulance, Braun turning the ambulance over, the kayfabe injury with Braun. What he needs, Roman needs to be with his family right now, since they suffered this loss with his brother. I know it's the families need time to heal, and I would not even have Roman Reigns on the card here if this was me. If this was me booking this and I could fantasy book this, I wouldn't have Roman Reigns on the card. I would have Reigns skip this pay-per-view, and I would have him visit this feud with Strowman at a later time, maybe at Money in the Bank, or maybe after SummerSlam. When after SummerSlam revisit the feud with Braun Strowman and build up Reigns and Lesnar. What I would do is simply this, and this is me fantasy booking here, is I would have had the Big Show versus Braun Strowman here at Payback. Number one, Big Show. Number one, I say big. Everybody says you deserve it, but Big Show, he needs this send off. He's going to be retiring in a year, and he needs this send off. Yes, they had the dramatic match on Raw. This should have been the dramatic match here at Payback with Braun Strowman versus the Big Show, and those two work well together in the ring. But since this is what we have, Reigns versus Strowman, I look for Strowman to go over Reigns. That or Reigns will could go over Strowman. Either way, you want me to make a decision, I'll pick Strowman to go over Reigns to set up Strowman and Lesnar, possibly at Money in the Bank, whatever the next Raw's next pay-per-view is. Reigns, if he's not this good, I think that if he's further beat down and they think that him not taking a pin is going to make him look weak. Him not taking a pin is going to make him look stronger if he took a pin. I don't think it's either other way. If he's going to get beat down with Strowman, then he's going to have I think that it's going to postpone. Is definitely going to postpone Reigns' feud with Lesnar. That's what my thoughts and my feelings are on this. People want to rag on Roman Reigns, and I've got with the whole, that Reigns lacked the he didn't deserve to retire per se, the Undertaker, but he is the one that Vince picked. He's the one. He's the guy that they want to build. So we can look and see how we can improve him, and we can get him to be this babyface. This is how, if they're going to build him more and let him get away from this what happened with the Undertaker, then this is, and they're going to beat him down even more, then people are going to say that, well, this is going to make the smart marks, the smart fans, even more happy that they're going to do this. But where does Reigns go from here? Where does Strowman go from here? We know Strowman goes over. Strowman's going to be in a program with Lesnar, and that's going to be a good match. That's going to be a good match for Strowman. No, Strowman does not need to win the title. It's too early still in Strowman's career, I think, for him to win the title. A traditionalist, I think that he can come back from a loss with Lesnar. He can come back. He's come back from a loss with Reigns. He come back from being abysmal in the Andre Memorial Battle Royal and the pre-show at WrestleMania, which was horrible booking. They should have done something more with him there. But where does Reigns go from here? My idea is this. If you're going to beat Reigns here, then what I would do is I would put the IC title on Reigns, but give it a little bit more prestige and say, no, well, it's on Ambrose. Ambrose, he's okay, but he don't really carry a championship, I don't think, very well. But I think that if you put the IC title on Reigns, it gives it a little bit more prestige. That, the Miz has done great work. Let Miz gravitate from a feud with from Ambrose into Roman Reigns. It might be entertaining to see the promos that the Miz would come up with. Of course, the Miz is probably going to be cheered with Roman Reigns, but I feel that it would give the title just a little bit more prestige. As long as Roman Reigns doesn't drag the IC title around. I know that Naito does in New Japan Pro Wrestling. I think the titles need to be made that they're important. They need to be, you don't have to strap it around your waist, but at least hold it on your arm to, it's the Intercontinental Championship. And it would give the Intercontinental Championship just a little bit more prestige, I think, if it was a feud between Reigns and The Miz. The thing with Ambrose, I don't know how that's going to work out. I don't know who Ambrose is going to fight. I don't know who Ambrose is going to get into a program with. Actually, what I would like to see is I'd like to see Ambrose get into a program with Finn Balor. I would like to see Finn Balor go heel. Balor Club. Luke Gallows, Carl Anderson. It's money, people. It's money, WWE, getting the Balor Club together. Um, that's my thoughts and my feelings on this. Overall, I think that it's going to be just an average pay-per-view. I hope that I'm wrong, but these are my thoughts. I hope the pay-per-view does not go very long. This pay-per-view doesn't need to be more than 2 hours long. I would like for the pay-per-views. I like the in-your-house pay-per-views. The pay-per-views that was in between the main pay-per-views of the year, between SummerSlam, between the Royal Rumble, and they had King of the Ring. Now they have Money in the Bank. Those pay-per-views that's in between those, they need to be shorter in length so that in 2 hours they can accomplish a lot. We see with SmackDown Live that the program is better with just a 2 hour program, and instead of 3 hours they need to have a 2 hour program, maybe a 45-minute kickoff show and a 2 hour pay-per-view. Sometimes less is more in the world of professional wrestling, or in the world of business. Less is more, and I think they can give a more quality match on each of these different. A more quality card on each of these matches. That's my thoughts and my feelings on Payback. I hope the House of Horrors match looks good, is presented well. That's my only fear for this pay-per-view. Again, I look for them really to get into the new season after Payback, because it was a little bit rushed because of all of the superstar shakeup that Vince McMahon come up with, like on all of a sudden, and threw everybody off, all the writers and everybody off. But they got to make the best out of a bad situation, and you got to move on and give people the best product that they can possibly give people. You can reach. This is the end, and so we come to the end of this. You can look here on my Twitter, Real Guru Wrestle. On Twitter, you can email me at therealguruofwrestling.com, therealguruofwrestling@gmail.com, and we'll be having some products more on the website. Of course, you can always support Patreon. It's really appreciative, trying to help me get things started here. Wrestling is my passion. It's not just a job, but it is my passion. I love pro wrestling, and hopefully with support and with fans, we can grow a great base and bring some great quality products and do some great quality programs for wrestling fans of all ages. Be safe, be well, enjoy the pay-per-view. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong, but I'm pretty good at predicting these things. So take care of yourself, people, and be safe. Have a good one.